Welcome to Celestial Do, a space where we explore our inner world, where storytelling and spiritual tools deepen our connection to ourselves and the universe. My name is Rocio Celeste, and this is my soulmate and constant companion, Nuga Cosmico. We are here to share our experiences and open a space for insight and transformation. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin this journey inward. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about a method that looks at the connection between our emotions, our subconscious mind, and physical health. Biodecoding, also known as biological decoding. The idea is that behind every physical symptom, there's an emotional conflict or unresolved experience that might be influencing the body. Think of it this way. Your body is like a messenger. When you're dealing with stress, trauma, or repressed emotions, your body might express it in the form of illness or discomfort. Biodecoding aims to go deeper, not just treating the symptom, but finding the real root cause behind it. Let's take an example. Say someone has chronic throat issues. In biodecoding, a practitioner might explore whether that person is holding back from saying something important, or they have felt silence in some area of their life. It's not about blaming anyone for being sick. It's about uncovering emotional layers that could be impacting the body and creating space for healing. Biodecoding pulls from various disciplines like German New Medicine, NLP, psychology, and epigenetics. It's holistic, and it encourages us to see ourselves as complex, emotional, and interconnected beings. Of course, this isn't a replacement for medical treatment, but it can be a powerful complement. It's about empowering people to understand themselves on a deeper level. So, if you are into mind-body connections, emotional healing, or just curious about alternative approaches to health, biodecoding might be something worth exploring. The first time I heard about biodecoding was 4 years ago, when I took a workshop with one of my teachers. It was a virtual workshop. And she asked each of the participants what our struggle in life was. Some people had struggled with obesity or overweight. Other people had trouble finding a partner. Other people had trouble with money. Others had career issues. And when it came to me, she asked me, "So what is your issue?" I said, "Nothing, everything is well in my life." And she said, "If that's the case, then why are you here? Why are you taking this workshop?" And that got me thinking, that's true. There was something that led me to take that workshop. My soul, my higher self knew that I needed to take it, even though I consciously didn't know I could benefit from that information. And it was very insightful, very informative, very effective. I got to do work with my car because that's something I learned during that workshop. Biodecoding helps us see what's in our life, not only our body, but everything that belongs to us, our personal objects, our cell phone, our house, our car, our refrigerator, our books, Everything that we say is mine. Mine is not just my body, but my cell phone, my car. If they have a problem, it's telling us something. There is a message there for us to see that we may consciously not be aware of. At its core, biodecoding is a way of looking at illness and physical symptoms through an emotional and subconscious lens. It suggests that behind every disease, every discomfort, there might be an unresolved emotional conflict. These are usually not conscious. They are buried deep in the subconscious mind. And the body picks up the slack by expressing them physically. Let's be clear, this isn't about saying you created your illness or that it's all in your head. No, it's more compassionate than that. It's about curiosity. It asks the question, what if your body is trying to tell you something? What if symptoms are a form of biological communication? Have you ever wondered? Think about the mind-body connection. We all kind of know this already, right? When we are stressed, we might get a headache. When we are heartbroken, we feel it in our chest. We feel it in our chest. Biodecoding just takes that understanding further. It explores the biological logic behind symptoms. What conflict the body is trying to resolve. It's okay, you can go down. For example, someone with chronic back pain might be carrying the weight of the world. Someone with recurring throat issues might be struggling with expressing their truth. A skin condition? It could relate to boundaries, contact, or feeling exposed. This doesn't mean we stop seeking medical help. Not at all. But it does invite us to explore what might be happening emotionally underneath the surface. So we can work on healing from the inside out. Where does this come from? There is a book that I read about 4.5 years ago, around the same time that I took that biodecoding workshop with my teacher. And that book is very known. It's a book by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And that talks about what the different illnesses are trying to tell us. At the very back of the book, there's like a table that says, oh, if you have blood issues, what does it mean? It represents the joy that flows through the body. And then it also has affirmations. So that you can work on that. There's another book that I have here that talks about the 5 childhood wounds from Lise Bourbeau. And this one talks about rejection, abandonment, injustice, humiliation, and treason. It talks about how the body shows the wounds that the person has in them, that they stem from childhood. If you felt rejected, if you felt abandoned. These 2 books are really good for working with what you might have repressed in your body. I also have a big dictionary here that was given to me when I took that workshop, and it's pretty thick. but it explains what the emotions hold in the body. This references those two books that I just mentioned. We got to work a lot with that. So like the liver and the stomach, the uterus, so many things. Your body is so wise. So like I said, biodecoding pulls from different disciplines: German new medicine, psychosomatic theories, epigenetics, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and emotional therapy. German new medicine, for instance, maps out how certain types of emotional shocks can affect specific organs. It's fascinating. Our bodies follow a kind of biological code, and biodecoding tries to interpret that code. Now, here's something people don't usually talk about: our personal objects. Things like our car, our home, our phone can be extensions of or reflections of our subconscious mind. They show up in our lives symbolically, often mirroring what we are going through emotionally. Let's talk about cars for a second. In biodecoding, your car might represent your ability to move forward in life, your sense of independence, or even your physical body. So if your car is constantly breaking down, is it just bad luck? Or could it be reflecting a deeper emotional breakdown that's happening within you? Have you ever noticed how people who are overwhelmed tend to have messy cars or cluttered homes? Or how someone dealing with anxiety might have issues with their brakes? Or their car won't start when they're trying to make a big life decision? I remember when I was doing a lot of deep healing work in myself about 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago. And it was very intense work. It was too scary and too painful. So painful that I refused to see some things that happened in my life when I was younger, when I was a kid. There were some things that I refused to accept because they were too painful and too disappointing that I said, no, that didn't happen. So what happened? Because I refused to see those things that happened in my life when I was very young, all the light bulbs in my home stopped working. There was not a single light bulb that will light up. And I'm talking about a lot of light bulbs, at least 25. Can't show you right now, but I have some lamps that have like five light bulbs. Because I refuse to see it. And of course, if I refuse to see it, I couldn't heal from it. I needed to see it first in order to acknowledge it and heal and liberate it. But no, I wasn't ready. Or I thought I wasn't ready. But obviously I was ready because it was already manifesting. But because it was so painful, I kept on wanting to ignore it. And all the lamps, all the light bulbs in my home started blinking, blinking, blinking until they went off. And I was in complete darkness in this place. Every single room in this apartment was dark. I had to light candles because I had no light. And interestingly enough, the same thing happened with my car, where the flashlights stopped working. One broke, the other one wouldn't work, wouldn't light up. And my teacher told me, well, these represents your eyes, the ability to see, the willingness to see. But because I refused to see what was coming up to the surface in order to be seen and acknowledged and released, this stopped working. And also because I was very judgmental towards myself, I kept on scratching my car, the sides of my car. Every time I parked, I could never find the right angle to park, and I will just force myself to reverse and park in my own garage. I didn't care if I was scratching my car. Why? Because I didn't care how mean and how judgmental and how harsh I was to myself. This was symbolic. This was a reflection of how tough and how judgmental I was towards myself. This is why I like to use the car as an example, because it's a prime example for me to show how our objects can be speaking to ourselves. Yes, our body screams, but also our objects. There was a time also 5 years ago, right before I started my healing journey, when my brand new cell phone had the home screen, had the screen completely shattered. And it was so broken that even touching the screen to unlock the phone caused my fingers to bleed. This is how damaged my phone was. That's how damaged I was. And that's how much damage I was allowing myself to endure from my ex, for example. For myself too. I can't remember how long I kept that phone in that state. It lasted months and months. And I never stopped to question myself, why am I allowing this to happen? Why do my fingers have to bleed every time I touch the screen on my iPhone? Because for me, it was so normal to accept abuse, to accept harm, that my cell phone was reflecting that to myself. And later my car, and later my refrigerator and my lamps at home. This went on for a while. Until I was strong enough and brave enough to see the things that needed to be seen. And biodecoding, it's a beautiful tool that allows us to see what is happening in our life. We can do biodecoding for our grandmother's egg. When our mother was developing in our grandmother's womb, we were also developing, because we were one of those eggs that will eventually become a fetus. One of those eggs will get conceived and our mother will give birth to us, but we were in our grandmother's womb. So we can work with our maternal grandmother to do biodecoding. That one egg, I've done it. It's beautiful work. So some symbolic patterns when it comes to the car, for example, flat tires, feeling deflating. Flat tires, they may symbolize feeling deflated, stuck, or lacking motivation. Battery problems. I've had that happen to me too. What does that symbolize? What is that reflecting? Well, battery problems, low energy, burnout, exhaustion, being exhausted. crashes or collisions. That's internal conflict, lack of control, or subconscious self-sabotage. Getting locked out of your car. What does that symbolize? Feeling disconnected from your direction, or maybe avoiding something that you don't want to face. It's not just about superstition. It's about energetic patterns. Your subconscious mind may project itself onto objects around you. Remember, everything that belongs to you, everything when you say my phone, my car, my body, my home, it's a reflection of you. And if we pay attention and we're open to see what these objects are trying to tell us, we can do a lot of healing too, thanks to our objects that are screaming to us. How is your car? Have you ever stopped to think about the condition of your car? Is your car in perfect condition? Or does it need some maintenance? How is your physical body? Are you allowing yourself enough rest? Are you eating nutritious food or are you eating junk food? How is your emotional state? Your mental state? So when things in your external world are off, it can be worth checking in. What's going on emotionally or mentally for me right now? Remember, we can heal through awareness. The power of biodecoding lies in awareness. When you uncover the emotional root behind a symptom, it can release tension from the body. It can shift how you relate to your illness, and sometimes symptoms even improve or disappear after the emotional conflict is acknowledged and processed. And remember, this isn't just about serious illnesses. It can be applied to everyday things, fatigue, allergies, recurring injuries, even patterns with money, relationships, or your car breaking down at the worst possible moment. So whether it's your body, your car, or the random chaos that seems to follow you, biodecoding invites you to ask, what's the message here? What part of me is trying to get my attention? It's a beautiful blend of curiosity, emotional intelligence, and self-empowerment. If you are intrigued by this, try paying attention this week. What patterns keep showing up in your body or even in your space? What messages might be hiding in plain sight? Sometimes the things we think are just life actually are clues. And when you learn to decode them, life gets a whole lot more meaningful. You being here listening to this is already a sign that you're interested in this. Now ask yourself, have you ever experienced like your body speaking to you, or your car is trying to send you a message? Have you ever experienced something like this? Your body speaking to you? Have you ever thought about how your car is reflecting your inner world? Sit with yourself and journal about it. What may your car be trying to tell you? This isn't about blaming yourself for a car problem. It's about noticing the patterns. It's about curiosity. When you bring awareness to the symbolic messages that your car is giving you, you unlock deeper levels of healing. And the cool thing is, once you start decoding these little messages, your life starts to feel way more connected. You begin to see how your inner world shapes your outer experience. The battery keeps dying. You may be emotionally or physically drained. Your energy system is on empty. Brakes acting up. Are you afraid to stop something in your life? Or maybe you're hitting the brakes when you should be moving forward. What if your car won't start? Are you hesitating on a new beginning? Are you doubting yourself? Are you feeling paralyzed by indecision? Your car is a mirror of your mind. May sound wild to some people, but think about it. Your car is something you use to move forward, to travel, to get from one point in life to another. In biodecoding, we often see the car as an extension or representation of our physical body or our life direction. So when things start to go wrong with our car, it can sometimes reflect what's going wrong internally or emotionally. Broken windows. I remember last year my brother had a broken window in his car. Some kids were playing outside and they hit a ball. The ball came straight to his car. The ball came straight to the window The ball came straight to the window and broke it completely. Glass was shattered and he had to get it fixed. Windows are also about vision. Windows let you see the road ahead. So if your car's windows are broken, cracked, or won't roll down, ask yourself, am I having trouble seeing a situation clearly? Do I feel like my perception is cracked? Or do I feel confused? Am I afraid of being seen? Or too exposed? Sometimes broken windows can reflect a kind of emotional vulnerability. Something shattered in how you view the world or how the world sees you. I remember last year, I knew someone whose window got broken. Some children were playing outside and they kicked the ball and came straight to the car's window, shattering the glass completely. And this guy was dating a person that he knew wasn't good for him. But he was going through a process. And his car was reflecting that to him. The lights that don't work, as I spoke about. Your headlights and tail lights help you see and be seen. Especially in the dark. Symbolically, they relate to guidance, clarity, and awareness. If your car lights are always going out, here are a few reflective questions. Am I lacking clarity about where I'm going in life? Do I feel like I'm walking in the dark, unsure of my next steps? Am I afraid to be seen for who I really am? Light also connects us to intuition, your inner light. If that's dimmed or out, maybe you're out of alignment with your gut feelings or your personal truth. Scratches and dents on the sides, like I spoke about. Years ago, I kept on scratching the sides of my car. Why? Represents boundaries. The sides of your car represents boundaries, and I didn't have boundaries. I didn't know how to say no at the time. It wasn't an option for me. I never learned to set boundaries. Never thought that it was a possibility for me to say no, to set limits. That's why I kept on scratching the sides of my car every time I parked in my own garage. I didn't care. I kept on maneuvering and forcing myself to park, being really tough with myself. Boundaries. What do they represent? Your ability to navigate interactions with the outside world. Scratches, dents, or damage on the sides might reflect feeling scraped by other people's opinions or energies. Am I giving too much importance to what people think of me? Am I having my personal space invaded or disrespected? The sides of your car is telling you where are all those boundaries. Can also represent the bumping into emotional boundaries that you haven't clearly set. If it keeps happening, especially in the same area, it could point to a repeating emotional theme. Maybe around relationships, defensiveness, or not feeling safe in your surroundings. What messages is your card trying to tell you? Are you going to try to decode them? Are you going to get curious about it? I invite you to explore. And see how much healing can come from it. You might be surprised what you uncover. Whether it's pain in your body, strange symptoms, or even your car acting up in mysterious ways. Ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Biodecoding isn't about being perfect. No. It's about becoming conscious. It's about healing at the root, not just the surface. Coming deep, seeing what's hidden really deep. And sometimes the very things that frustrate us the most, like a broken light or a scratch on our car, are actually gentle nudges from our subconscious asking us to pay attention. So take a look around. Tune into your body. Listen to your environment. How is your home? How is your car? It's all part of the same story, and that story is you. Yes. It's your inner world. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me and Nuga Cosmico in this episode of Celestial Dew. Before I say goodbye, ask yourself, have you ever had a strange coincidence like your car breaking down during a major life transition? Or a physical symptom that seemed to line up perfectly with something emotional? Journal about it. Talk with your friends about it. If you resonated with this information, feel free to like, subscribe, or send this video to anyone who might benefit from this content. We will be back with another episode on how to connect your inner world and the universe. Stay curious. Explore for yourself. And we will see you in a future episode. Goodbye.